You never think it's gonna be the people closest to you. You expect strangers to screw you over, maybe coworkers, maybe some random asshole at a bar. But your best friend? And your wife. That's the kind of shit you don't even let yourself imagine. It started on a regular Friday night. Me, Emma, my wife, and Jake, my so-called best friend since high school, were hanging out in my living room, drinking beers and watching a game. We'd done this 1,000 times before. Jake was practically family. He'd been my best man at our wedding. He was Uncle Jake to my kids. He knew everything about me. Halfway through the night, I went to the kitchen to grab another round. When I came back, I caught something, not with my eyes but with my gut. The way Emma was leaning back on the couch, laughing at something Jake said. Not the usual laugh. That laugh, the one where her head tilts, eyes linger just a second too long. I knew it. I'd seen it before. Only it used to be aimed at me. I brushed it off. Told myself I was being paranoid. But once that thought cracks your skull open, you can't put it back. You start watching differently. Over the next couple of weeks, I noticed shit. Little things. Jake showing up when I wasn't home, saying he just dropped by to borrow tools. Emma smiling too wide at his dumb jokes. Their conversations stopping dead whenever I walked into the room. The breaking point came one night when Jake forgot his phone on our kitchen counter. He went to take a piss. Emma was upstairs and that damn screen lit up with a text. Last night was amazing. Can't wait to see you again. My stomach flipped. The contact name? E. I didn't touch the phone. Didn't need to. I just looked at that glowing screen, the 3 dots popping up like she was typing something back, and I knew. When Jake came back, I handed him his phone without a word. He grinned, said, "Thanks, bro." I grinned back. Inside, I wanted to put my fist through his teeth. That night, lying next to Emma while she pretended to be asleep, I made my decision. I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to throw her shit on the lawn. I wasn't even going to knock Jake's smug ass out. No. I was going to let them think I was clueless. I was going to let them relax, keep digging their hole. And when the time came, I'd bury both of them in it. After that night with Jake's phone buzzing on the counter, I couldn't unsee it. Every look, every touch, every pause in conversation screamed at me. But suspicion isn't enough. If I wanted to crush them both, I needed undeniable proof. The kind that left them no room to weasel out. So I started watching. First move, Emma's phone. She was paranoid about passwords, but people get sloppy at home. One evening she left it charging on the dresser while she showered. I tried her birthday. Locked. Tried Jake's. Unlocked on the first try. That almost made me laugh. What I found wasn't pages of sexts or nudes, they weren't that stupid. But the messages were there, hidden under boring, coded lines. Did you pick up the stuff? Yeah, same time as last week. With timestamps that always lined up with the nights she was out with friends, or Jake was working late. I screen recorded everything, uploaded it to a hidden drive. File name, lies01.mp4. Next, I bought a small GPS tracker, the kind you can slip into a car without anyone noticing. Stuck it under Emma's passenger seat one Saturday while I was cleaning her car. A week later, the logs painted the picture clear as day. She wasn't at yoga, wasn't at wine nights, wasn't at Target. She was at Jake's apartment. Again. And again. The first night I saw her car parked there, I sat outside in my own truck. Engine off, lights out. 9:17 p.m. Her car in the lot. His car too. I stared at his window, saw the lights flicker, shadows moving. My heart was pounding like I'd run a marathon. My fists clenched on the steering wheel. For a split second, I almost got out and stormed up the stairs. But I didn't. Instead, I took photos. Her car. His car. The time. The date. Uploaded it all to the vault. Lies02.jpg. That night, when she came home smelling like his damn cologne, she kissed me on the cheek and said, "You're up late." I smiled. Just couldn't sleep. She went to bed without a clue that I'd been parked outside, watching her with him. Within a month, I had enough dirt to ruin both their lives. Screenshots, GPS logs, photos. But I didn't stop. Because proof wasn't the end game. Proof was just the foundation. What I wanted was bigger. I wanted them broke. Ruined. And I wanted them to hand me the knife I was going to cut them with. So I started planning the business. The hardest part wasn't gathering proof. It was keeping a straight face while I pretended I didn't have it. Every smile from Jake, every fake kiss from Emma, every lie about yoga or late work. I wanted to spit the truth right in their faces. But I didn't. Because the longer I kept quiet, the safer they felt. And the safer they felt, the sloppier they got. So I leaned in. I doubled down on being the good husband, the loyal friend. I started inviting Jake over more often. Beer nights. game nights. Even little, let's talk business lunches. Emma looked nervous the first few times, probably worried I suspected something. But then she relaxed. She thought I was too dumb, too trusting, too blind. One night, Jake and I were sitting on my back porch with a couple of whiskeys. He was running his mouth about how his job doesn't appreciate his potential. I nodded along, let him vent, and then casually said, "You know, I've been thinking about branching out. Doing something on my own. Starting a side business. You're smart with numbers, right?" His eyes lit up like a fucking Christmas tree. That's the thing about Jake, he'd always been greedy. Always chasing quick money, always bitching that other people got lucky. The idea of me trusting him with something big? He couldn't resist. Emma overheard later when I was explaining my idea in the kitchen. I noticed the way her eyes sparked. She tried to hide it, but I caught it. She saw an opportunity too. They thought maybe I was about to set up a future where they could benefit. Where Jake could cash in and Emma could ride along. Over the next couple of weeks, I dropped more hints. Maybe we could invest in property. Heard about this distribution company looking for partners. All bullshit. Smoke and mirrors. I kept it vague enough to sound real but juicy enough to make his greedy little brain spin. Meanwhile, I made sure to feed his ego. Honestly, Jake, you're the only one I'd trust with something like this. His chest puffed up like a fucking balloon. He said things like, "Bro, we could kill it together. Don't even worry, I've got your back." And Emma? She started encouraging me. Maybe Jake is the right person to help. You know he's ambitious. She said it all sweet, like she wasn't secretly fucking him behind my back. Every time they looked at each other, I could see it. That unspoken "we're in this together." And I smiled, played dumb, and thought, yes, you stupid assholes. Walk right into the trap. By the end of the month, Jake was practically begging me for details. "Come on, man, tell me more. What's the plan?" I just leaned back, sipped my beer, and said, "Relax. You'll see soon enough." And oh, he would. I knew Jake well enough to know one thing. If you dangle money in front of him, he'll chase it like a starving dog after steak. All I had to do was make it smell good enough. So one night, over beers, I finally gave him the pitch. "All right," I said, lowering my voice like it was some top-secret shit. "I've been looking into a logistics company a buddy told me about. Small outfit, solid contracts, undervalued as hell. They're looking for partners to expand. I don't want to go in alone. Thought of you." Jake's eyes widened. "Line. Sinker. Dude, seriously? You'd let me in on that?" "Of course," I said, clinking his glass. "We've always had each other's backs. I trust you more than anyone." The words almost choked me, but I forced them out with a smile. Over the next week, I fed him just enough bullshit to keep him hooked. Fake emails I'd written from a contact at the company. Mock contracts I drafted myself with a lawyer buddy who owed me a favor. Everything looked professional. Everything looked real. Jake was frothing at the mouth. "Man, this is it. This is the move that sets us up for life." Emma overheard us one evening. I caught the way she leaned in, hanging on every word. Later that night in bed, she said, "Jake seems really excited about this. Maybe this is exactly what we all need right now." I nodded, kissed her forehead, and thought, yeah, you'll get exactly what you need, to watch me take every last dime you and your lover boy have. Within a month, Jake had invested. First it was $5,000. Then $20,000. Then he liquidated one of his retirement accounts to throw in another $50,000. Each time I made a big show of matching him, but really I was funneling his cash straight into an account only I controlled. Emma started asking about the future. What happens when it takes off? Will we all move? Maybe get a bigger house? She was smiling dreamy-eyed. Planning a life with him, funded by me. I smiled back and said, "We'll see, babe. Big changes are coming." They thought they were building a future together. In reality, they were signing their own financial death warrants. And I wasn't done yet. Emma always liked to play the supportive wife. You know, the type who pretends she's just cheering her man on, while secretly angling to make sure the outcome benefits her. I knew that about her long before Jake. But now, with dollar signs in her eyes and her lover right in the middle of it all, she couldn't help herself. She started asking questions. "So, how much money are you and Jake putting in? What happens if it doesn't work out? Do you think I could, sign something too? You know, so I'm included?" The audacity almost made me laugh. She was fucking my best friend and still wanted me to put her name on a business deal. But it was perfect. Because the more involved she got, the more trapped she'd be when the hammer finally dropped. So I played the part. Smiled. Acted like I was grateful for her interest. "Actually," I said one night while we were making dinner, I was gonna bring this up to you. My lawyer suggested we have both spouses sign as silent partners just for liability. It's nothing major, just paperwork to show everyone's on the same page. She lit up. Really? That's smart. Smart my ass. The documents she signed didn't make her a partner in anything. They made her a guarantor, legally tying her to Jake's investment as if it were her own. She skimmed them, didn't bother to ask questions, just signed where I highlighted. Always trust my husband, she said with a sweet smile that almost made me choke on the irony. Jake of course was thrilled. Man, with Emma on board too, it looks even stronger. We're solid, bro. I nodded, clinked his glass again and thought, solid as a coffin lid, you fucking idiot. Over the next few weeks, I kept them both fed on scraps of updates. Big meeting with the partners soon. Numbers look good. We might be ready to expand already. Emma's eyes would light up at dinner. Jake started bragging to people that he was part of a big new venture. They were high on their own lies, and I was the one spoon-feeding it to them. By the time Jake had funneled nearly his entire savings into the business, and Emma had her name tied to the liability, I had everything I needed. Proof of their betrayal. Proof of their stupidity. And all the leverage in the world. The trap was set. All that was left was to spring it. By now, Jake was fully addicted to the idea of being some hotshot businessman. Every time I dangled a new update, he was like a kid at Christmas. How much longer until we start seeing returns, bro? Do you think I should quit my job once this takes off? He said that shit with a straight face too. I fed him exactly what he wanted to hear. Couple more weeks. We're right on the edge of locking down a huge contract. If you've got anything else you can free up, now's the time to go all in. And like the greedy fuck he was, he did. Sold his car, the shiny new truck he used to brag about. Cashed out another retirement fund. By the end, Jake had shoveled over 6 figures into my fake company. Every dollar funneled into an account under my name, ironclad and untouchable. Emma meanwhile was buzzing. She dropped little hints about our future when Jake wasn't around. When this pays off, maybe we can finally move. Start fresh somewhere new. She said it like she wasn't already planning that new life with him. Like I didn't know every fucking thing. And the best part? She thought she was being clever. She actually encouraged Jake to invest more. I caught a message on her phone one night. If you really believe in this, put everything you can into it. This could change our lives. It changed their lives, alright. Just not the way they expected. When Jake came over with the last check, he grinned like an idiot. Man, we're killing it. I can't believe we're actually doing this. He handed me the envelope like it was some sacred offering. I shook his hand, smiled, and said, "This is it. You're gonna remember this day for the rest of your life." He laughed, clapped me on the shoulder. Emma kissed my cheek in the kitchen later, whispering, "I'm so proud of you." My blood boiled, but I kept my mask on. Because here's the kicker. The documents they both signed, the ones they barely skimmed, made it crystal clear that all liability for the business fell on them. Not me. If the company went belly up tomorrow, Jake and Emma were legally responsible for the losses. Their names. Their signatures. Their financial ruin. And that's exactly what I planned to show them. The only thing left was choosing the right stage. Somewhere public. Somewhere humiliating. Somewhere they couldn't spin the story or crawl away quietly. And I knew exactly the event for it. The timing couldn't have been more perfect. My parents' anniversary party, big rented hall, catered dinner, nearly the entire extended family invited. Friends, neighbors, co-workers. Everyone who mattered to us was going to be there. Emma insisted we go. "It'll be good for you," she said, smiling, slipping her hand into mine like she hadn't been sneaking around with my best friend for months. Jake, of course, was invited too. He was practically a son to my parents. Perfect. I'd already prepared everything. A short slideshow for my parents, thanking them for their love and commitment. But after the sweet photos of vacations and holidays, I had queued up something a little different. The night of the party, the hall was buzzing. People laughed, clinked glasses, music played. Emma was glowing in her dress, Jake in his stupid too-tight shirt, both of them sipping wine, stealing little glances they thought no one noticed. I kept my cool, hugged relatives, smiled, laughed. Inside, I was vibrating with anticipation. When it came time for speeches, I stood up. Microphone in hand, big smile plastered on my face. "I just want to take a moment to honor my parents," I began. 50 years together. Through thick and thin. Real commitment. Real loyalty. Something we should all strive for. Applause. Smiles. Emma squeezed my arm, proud. Jake clapped loud, clueless. And because of that, I continued, I put together a little video. Some memories, some highlights, and a reminder of what loyalty actually looks like. The lights dimmed. The projector hummed. First came the wholesome family photos. Christmas mornings, vacations, my parents cutting cake. Everyone odd. Then the screen cut to something else. Timestamp: Emma's car outside Jake's apartment. Another shot: their cars parked side by side. Then, a video clip: my living room cam, Emma and Jake on my couch, his hand on her thigh, her whispering, "He has no idea." His smug laugh. The room erupted. Gasps, shouts, someone's fork clattering to the floor. My aunt muttered, "Holy shit." My mother's face went white. Emma jumped to her feet. "Turn it off," she shouted. Her voice cracked. Jake stammered, "This isn't," but I raised my hand and the room quieted. "Wait," I said into the mic, "there's more." The final slide appeared, the contracts. Signed by both of them. Highlighted sections showing that every cent Jake had invested was legally under my control, and every liability tied to both his and Emma's names. "You see," I said, my voice calm, almost cheerful, "while they were sneaking around behind my back, I was building a little something of my own. And thanks to their signatures, they're now broke. Every dime he put in? What? Every liability? Theirs." The silence was deafening. Then the murmur started. People whispering, pointing, staring daggers at Jake and Emma. Emma looked like she'd been slapped. Jake's face was red, jaw clenched, fists tight at his sides. I set the mic down gently, raised my glass and said, "To my parents, 50 years of real love. And to snakes getting exactly what they deserve." I drank. The room exploded, half the people clapping, half yelling, everyone buzzing with shock. Emma ran out in tears. Jake followed, but not before my cousin muttered loud enough for everyone to hear, "You just got fucked, bro." And goddamn did he ever. The aftermath was pure chaos and I savored every second of it. The morning after the party, my phone was blowing up. Missed calls from Emma, long voicemails from Jake, even texts from my mom begging me to keep things private. Too late. That shit was out in the open and there was no stuffing it back in the box. Emma tried first. She came home with red eyes, mascara smudged, babbling about how it wasn't serious and we can fix this. I let her cry in the doorway while I stood there calm as ice. Then I handed her a manila folder. Inside, divorce papers. Already drafted. Already ironclad. She froze. You already?" "Yeah," I said. "I already knew. For months. I let you hang yourself with your own rope." She broke down, sobbing on the floor. I stepped over her and went to pour myself a coffee. Jake wasn't doing much better. Half the family cut him off immediately. My dad told him point blank, "You're no son of mine." Melissa, his girlfriend at the time, dumped him that same night. By Monday, his boss had heard about the investment scam and called him in. Guess what? You can't focus on sales quotas when the whole office is whispering that you're the idiot who got fleeced by his best friend while screwing his wife. He was out of a job by the end of the week. The money? Gone. All of it legally transferred to me. He begged, threatened, even tried to guilt-trip me with, "Come on man, we've been brothers since high school." I just laughed. Brothers don't fuck each other's wives. Emma ended up moving in with her sister, since she couldn't afford rent anywhere decent. Word spread fast. Neighbors whispered. Friends dropped her. Even her own family started treating her like a pariah. The look on her face every time she realized people were talking about her? Priceless. And me? I was fine. Better than fine. I had my money safe, my reputation intact, and the sympathy of everyone who mattered. People at work bought me drinks. Neighbors shook my hand, called me a legend for how I handled it. The two of them thought they were clever, thought they were building a future together. Instead, I ripped it all out from under them and left them choking on the ashes. And I wasn't even done yet. It's been over a year since the night I dropped the bomb at my parents' anniversary, and sometimes I still catch myself smiling when I think about it. Emma's gone. Divorce finalized, assets divided, well, more like me keeping everything and her walking away with scraps. Thanks to the contracts, she's still on the hook for part of Jake's investment. Debt collectors call her, not me. Last I heard, she's working some dead-end retail job, living in a tiny apartment, trying to convince people she's starting over. Nobody buys it. People know what she did. And people remember. Jake. Even worse. He never bounced back. The guy who used to brag about being unstoppable now drives some beat-up Honda and crashes at his brother's spare room. Word got around about how he lost his savings, and his best friend's wife. Nobody trusts him. Nobody respects him. He's just a cautionary tale now. And me? I'm free. No more lies, no more fake smiles. Just peace. I got to keep my house, my savings, my reputation. My family rallied around me, and the people who matter most made it clear. I'm the one who came out on top. Do I feel guilty? Not for a fucking second. They handed me the knife and begged me to cut. All I did was smile, sharpen it, and slice. Sometimes late at night I replay that moment, the projector humming, the room going silent, Emma's face draining of color, Jake's jaw hitting the floor. That was the exact second their little fantasy world imploded. That was the second I won. And the best part? I didn't just expose them. I took everything they thought they'd build together and made sure they'd never have it. Emma chose Jake. Jake chose greed. And I chose revenge.